Today we are making star coasters, perfect for any patriotic holiday like Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. Really, you could keep these coasters out all summer long. Now this file is intended to be cut on a laser cutting machine like a Glowforge or I have an Untitled. And don't worry, I will be sharing that SVG file with you absolutely free. Hello everybody, I am the Crafty Blog Stalker, and if you are new to my videos, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming tutorials. Here is a finished coaster, but let me show you all the pieces that you will need to cut out with your laser. Here are all of my coaster pieces. Now for the individual coasters, they are 2 layers. So I've got a base to my coaster, and then the cutout design, the stars. For the coaster holder, we need 1 base and 1 frame for each layer of coaster. And since I've got a 2-layer coaster and I'm making a total of 4 coasters, 2 times 4 is 8. So I have 8 frame pieces for my coaster holder. I cut these out using 1/8 inch MDF board, but you could really cut these out using any wood material or even acrylic. But since these are MDF, I am going to make sure I seal them really good to protect them from moisture. So let's take a look at the other supplies that we're going to need. We have our wood pieces already cut out using that SVG file that I will share with you. Again, I used an Untitled, but this file works great on a Glowforge as well. We have red, white, and blue paint, of course, to keep with our Americana theme. Some 3-in-1 glue, a paper plate that we're going to use as our palette, and then I love to paint with these makeup wedges. They're much cheaper than foam brushes, and they work just as well. You can buy them at the dollar store, or if you want to buy them even cheaper, you can buy a big lot of them on Amazon. I've got some paper that I'm going to protect my surface with, and then we are going to seal our coasters with this triple thick brush on glaze. And of course, I will link to all of these supplies in the description of this video. To prep my surface, I have my paper taped down to protect my countertop here from paint. And then I am going to take 3 really long pieces of masking tape, and I'm gonna loop them over and lay them on my surface here, and I'm going to need probably even more than that. Now we're going to come to our coaster pieces and lay them out how we want them to be painted. Now we are not going to paint this base piece, it's just to hold the coaster together, so we're going to set that aside. And I want the colors to be alternating, so I'm going to go red, white, blue, red, white. Okay, and then we're going to come to the next coaster and we're going to do the same thing, except I want the colors to alternate. So this time I want this outside part to be white, blue, red, white, blue. Come to our third coaster and we're going to start on blue this time. So it'll be blue, red, white, blue, red. Now, of course, if you don't want to alternate, you totally can have them all be the same way. Totally fine. It's just a matter of preference. Now, we've got 3 different variations and 4 coasters, which means one is going to duplicate, and that's okay. So we're going to go red, white, blue, red, white. So there's all of our coaster pieces. Now for our coaster frame, we want to paint the base. And let's see, what color do we want? Let's have our coaster frame be, let's just have it be white. Or is that no fun? Nope, we're gonna have it be white. So we're gonna paint the base white, And then we only need to paint one of the frames white as well, because they're all going to be stacked on top of each other. So we won't be able to see the paint if we paint each individual one. So we're only going to paint the top frame white. Now I'm going to bring in my paper plate and my paint. And I'm just going to put a little bit of paint there for my red. I've got one of my makeup sponge wedges here. And to paint, I'm going to pick some. I like to paint on the fat end, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to pick up some paint and kind of get some off. You don't want too much paint on there. And then I'm just going to start painting. And using that tape to hold your pieces makes it so you don't get paint all over your fingers, which is really nice. And we're going to do the same for our white, which is our middle. Put some paint on there. Got my trusty makeup sponge. And now we're going to paint our white pieces. And then last is our blue. And we're going to do the same thing with our blue. Now that all of our pieces are dry, we are going to start assembling, and we are going to be using this Beacon 3-in-1 glue. So I'm just going to take the lid off. I'm going to take one of our bases and we are going to start gluing. So I'm going to glue the back side with just a little bit of glue. You don't need very much. Go all the way around. And then put that on our base. And just press on all the edges to make sure it is centered perfectly on that base. And then we go to our next piece, which is that white. We're going to do the same, a little bit of glue. And put that in and press it into place. Okay, now I'm going to put it down. Now we're going to come to our blue piece. Now all of the pieces are a little bit different. See how it doesn't go in that way? So we just have to find the right direction of it to go in, which is that way. So we're going to take it out and put some glue along those edges. And put it into place like that. Then we've got our red piece. And it's easier to find the direction before it has the glue on it. So that's why, there we go, it goes that way. And our last piece goes that way. Oh, no, it doesn't. I only put glue in the center of this piece though, so I'm not getting glue all over my fingers as I turn it each time. There we go. All right. And there is our coaster. Isn't that so cute? Now we're going to seal them after I get them all assembled, but I'm going to go ahead and finish assembling them all first. Here are the assembled coasters. Isn't that fun? How they're a little bit different because we alternated those colors. Now let's move to our frame, our coaster frame. Here's the base and the top edge frame, and here are all the other pieces. Now first we want to glue these pieces together. So I'm going to stick that to the tape. I am going to keep this highlighter pen handy just to help me even out these pieces when stacking them. So I'm going to grab one, and I'm actually going to put the glue on that base piece. And put it together. Now the trickiest part is lining up these edges right here. So you want to make sure that those are lined together, which is why I have my little highlighter pen here. Helps me push them all together. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of glue on this piece. And we're going to do the same thing. And now there are 7 of our frame pieces. So we are ready for our painted one to go on top. And then we're going to apply glue to the base of that stack. Now I'm going to paint this white, just so you don't see that burned edge all the way around. You don't have to do that. It is totally optional, but I am going to do that. But before I paint, I want to give that glue just a little bit longer to dry. All right, our base is good and dry. Now really quickly before we paint, I'm just going to wipe it to get some of that residue off from being cut in the laser. And then that residue won't leak as much through that white paint. I've got more white paint, and this time instead of using the sponge, I'm going to use a paintbrush. I wasn't going to originally, but I think using a paintbrush to get into those nooks and crannies is going to be easier than the sponge. I'm just going to paint that in. I don't have to worry about getting the base because I've already done the base. Normally I don't paint the edges. Like I'm not going to paint the edges on the coasters. But where these are so stacked, I think it'll really help it look nice and finished. And then I'm going to let that dry for a couple minutes before I add the next layer. All right, now I'm going to come in with this second coat. And you can see right away how much better that second coat takes. All right, we're gonna let this second coat dry and then we'll see if it needs a third coat or if it's good. All right, we are gonna add one more layer of paint and then we should be good. So I'm just gonna go over everything one more time. And we're gonna let this dry again before we apply our seal. Now we are ready to seal our coasters and our frame. So I'm going to be using this triple thick gloss glaze, if I can open it. And this will take 2 coats. I am still going to use my makeup sponge, but this time I am going to use the pointy end. and I'm just going to paint it on. And I really want that to get into those cracks of the cut design to seal our coaster, so it is protected against any moisture. All right, everything is dry, and so I just wanted to show you how cute all of our coasters are once they have been sealed. And we have our cute little coaster tray here as well. Isn't this such a cute project? I want to thank you so much for joining me today. While you're here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming tutorials. And of course, you can always find me at my home base at thecraftyblogstalker.com. Thanks everyone. Bye and happy crafting.